Today we will be painting a watercolor sage herb together. If you're watching live, feel free to say hi in the chat box and let us know where you're from. And before we get started, I'll go over a few things. So first is that I provide an outline for you like this that you can download and transfer onto your watercolor paper. And there's also a whole list of supplies that I use for this tutorial in the description as well. And speaking of supplies, I will quickly go over what I'm using. So here I have my Etcher sketchbook, and the size of my painting is 5 by 7 inches. And my brushes that I plan on using are my silver black velvet brushes. So I have a size 8, 4, and 2. These are round brushes. And then I have this size 1 script brush here. Hi everyone. Hi Hannah. Good morning. Hi Sarah. Hi Rachel and Patty and Sydney. I'm so happy to see you guys. The paints I plan on using are just 3 colors. So this painting is great for beginners because you don't really need many colors and it'll be very simple and fun. So yeah, anyways, here I have Mayan Dark Blue from Daniel Smith, and then I have Sap Green from Daniel Smith. And then I have this lilac color here. This is from Holbein. So basically you need a green and a purple for like the bare basics, and you can get like use a dark blue or like a Payne's gray or something like that to create a darker green if you would like. Hi guys. Hi Patty. I already said hi to you, didn't I? She says, I can't stay very long. I have to go teach my friend on how to use her sewing and embroidery machine. Well, that sounds fun. So here's a quick glimpse at what we'll paint. So I did paint this a few years ago, and I thought that maybe it would be really fun to do with you guys as a tutorial. So this will kind of be what it'll look like. And let's get started, shall we? So yeah, the first thing, first I did transfer my outline using a light pad, and I used watercolor pencils here. These are from Faber-Castell. You don't have to use watercolor pencils. You can just use a regular pencil. And my green is a little too bright, but I think it'll be fine. Okay, now let's get started. Hi, Freya and Trisha. Where are you guys from? Let me know in the live chat. Where are you from? If you're watching the replay, feel free to share with us where you're from. I'd love to know. Okay, so the first step is to mix a very light green color. This will be basically like the lightest color in our sage, and it will be for the first layer. So I'm going to take my size 8 round brush here in my palette, and for the light color I'm going to mix a light version of sap green here with a little bit of that Mayan dark blue, just to give it kind of like a bluish tint, because that's the kind of green I would like to use, is more of like a bluish green. But of course you can use whatever kind of green you want. And then we want to mix a lot of water in this because we want it to be very light. So I am dipping my brush a lot in my water jar and adding water in here. And some more sap green. More water. And then I'm going to add a little bit of this Mayan dark blue to this to give it a little bit of a blue. Okay, so that's kind of the color I'm trying to go for, maybe a little bit more blue. Okay, And then a lot more water. A lot of water. Okay. Teresa says, hello from Ontario, Canada. Liz says, good morning. Good morning, Liz. Trisha says she is from Texas. John Ali, hi, is from India. Wow. Annette, oh, says, Allison, a package is on its way to you. Thank you, Annette. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, now let's get actually painting. I'm gonna move my camera a little closer so that you guys can see better. So just bear with me here. There we go. So I'm first going to paint in these leaves, and then I'll move to a smaller brush and paint in these smaller leaves that bud into little flowers. So I'm going to start down here with this leaf here. I'm going to use my size 8 brush, and I might use my size 4 brush here with just water just to help me distribute the paint. So you'll see what I mean here in a second. So I'm just going to start filling this in here. Because yeah, this brush has a ton of paint and water in it, like a lot, because I just mixed a color. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to this brush now, kind of help me distribute this better and not use as much paint because I want this to be light. So I find this to be helpful to paint a light layer. Okay. Kind of refining the edges. And then I'm going to kind of distribute this into the stem a little bit here. So this brush right now, this is just my brush. I didn't have any paint in it. Okay. Allison says, good morning, everyone. Freya says, hello from the UK. Trisha says, living out on 50 acres and started to watercolor a few months ago with you. I have enjoyed it. Wow, 50 acres. That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to move to this leaf up here now. We'll basically do the same thing for all these leaves. Being careful not to paint outside of the line. Okay, again, I'm going to switch to the size 4 brush here and distribute this paint. And this brush, like I said a few minutes ago, it just has a tiny bit of water in it. And then again, I'm going to kind of drag this into the stem and then kind of paint the stem. A. Brooke Wine says, hi from Chicago. Chicago. I live close to Chicago, like an hour and a half away. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to this one up here. Do any of you guys grow sage, or do you use sage in like cooking and stuff? I've only used like fresh sage a few times. And I haven't grown it like in my garden or anything. I actually don't use sage all that much. Okay, I'm gonna switch now to this other brush like I have been. Yeah, I think I used sage a few times when roasting chicken, like in the oven. And then yeah, I'm just gonna drag this into the stem and paint in the stem. Kai Art says, good evening, how are you doing? I'm good. Thanks for asking. How are you? Rachel says, Kansas City suburbs on the Kansas side of the state line. Nice. Cindy says, I'm from Ontario too. Hannah says, I'm in upstate New York at Adirondack foothills. I probably said that wrong. Right on the Vermont border. Freya says, do you have any tips for creating with watercolor? I do have a few quick tips that I can think of at the top of my head right now. Always start your first layer as light as you can. Always wait for your layers to completely dry before you continue the next layer. What about you guys? Do you guys have any watercolor tips? Trying to think of other ones. Oh, you use like the white of your paper for white. It's always good to like test your watercolor paint on a scrap piece of paper before painting with it, at least for a beginner, so that you will know if you need to add more water to the color or not. Okay, so this one here, this has like a little fold. So I am first painting this part, and then when this dries, I'm gonna paint in this fold here. So I'm going to move on, and we'll go back to this part of the leaf when this dries. Liz says, I don't really cook with it much, with sage much. John Lee says, what type of paper do you use? So the main paper I use is Arches Cold Press, but this here, this is my Etcher sketchbook. And this is cold press, I believe from Fabriano. This is the paper that's in that sketchbook. Okay, so since this leaf here is wet, I'm gonna wait to paint these two because I don't want any weird texture going on if the wet paint starts to seep into this almost dry paint. So I'm gonna try to avoid any mistakes and move to this one here, and I'll probably move back up here soon. So I'm gonna fill this one in. Try to stay in the lines. Okay, I'm gonna switch to my other brush that just has water in it to help distribute this paint. Okay, then I'm gonna continue the stem over here. Okay. Donna, hi. Hi, Donna. Says, just joining now from Virginia. What are the numbers or sizes of the brushes? So this is around size 8. This one here is around size 4. I might use the size 2 round. And then I have a size 1 script brush that I might use. I thought I would use it. I'm not sure now if I will. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more water to this because it's starting to dry a little bit. All right. So I'm I'm gonna move on to this one here. I'm gonna paint in this part of the leaf like so. Okay, and then switch to my smaller size 4 round brush and distribute this paint. And then move this paint into the stem. And then we'll paint in this fold here when that dries. Allison says, I'm in East Tennessee, the Smoky Mountains area, enjoying the beautiful fall weather. I love that area, Allison. I love Tennessee. Lizzie Ann says, hi from Danbury, Cincinnati. John Lee says, I struggle a little bit on sketching. On sketching the sage. Okay. Liz says that there's a sage bush in her garden. Ooh. All right. So this leaf here is basically dry. I'm going to go ahead and paint in this one here. So I'm just kind of filling in most of the leaf with my large brush. And then I'm going to switch to my size 4 round brush that just has water in it to kind of paint in the rest, distribute this paint in these smaller areas. All right, so yeah, we'll let that dry before I paint in this leaf here. I'm gonna go ahead, take this brush, the smaller one that I was just using, and kind of add some of this green to it. And then I'm gonna paint in this fold here. Okay. And then I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'm just gonna add a little bit more and paint in this fold. Now, don't do this if this is still wet right here. So just be careful. Rachel says, sage has to go in dressing. It's not quite right without. Oh, like salad dressing? I might have to try that then. Patty says, I use sage when I grind up pork to make breakfast sausage. I used to grow all my herbs, but for some reason stopped. That sounds yummy. Lynn says, hi from Melbourne, Florida. All right, so I am just adding some more paint into my larger size 8 brush now. And I'm gonna go ahead and paint in this leaf. Okay, and then I'm gonna switch to my smaller size 4 round brush. It just has a tiny bit of water in it. And I'm just gonna move this paint over here, work this smaller area, and then over here. And then move this paint into the stem. Trying to see. Kai R says, I'm doing good, just waiting for my board exam results. Ooh, I bet you're anxious about that. Teresa says, how are you enjoying the fall? Have you done any fall activities yet, like pumpkin or apple picking? Oh, yeah, I haven't yet, but here in a few weeks, we plan on going to an apple orchard with some family, with my niece and nephew, and yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm so excited for fall. I guess it is technically fall, but here in northern Indiana where I live, it still feels a lot like summer. The leaves haven't changed yet, but I think they will soon. Okay, so I'm filling a lot of this leaf in, and then I'm gonna switch to my other brush like I have been doing and filling the rest in. What about you guys? Have you done any fall activities yet? Those of you who are in this part of the world where it's fall now. I know some of you don't have fall, at least, or like right now. Those of you in Australia and stuff. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to this here. And I'm just going to take the smaller brush I was using, dip it into my green, and fill this in. I really want to make apple cider, like homemade apple cider in the crock pot. Oh, that sounds amazing. All right, so we have the first layer on the leaves done. But before we start the second layer, we will kind of paint in these flowers and stuff. Allison says, the color seems to look darker on screen when it is wet. I have learned to go lighter than what I think I see. Yes. Yeah, guys, so the screen might not be true to how dark how dark my painting is. So try and paint yours as light as possible, like the first layer. Okay, so now I am going to clean my size 8 brush, my large brush here that I was using, and set it aside because we're going to use a smaller brush for these leaves over here. April Gwen says you're in Illinois. Do you go to the Edwards Apple Orchard in the fall? I'm actually from Indiana, like northern Indiana, but I'm really close to Chicago. I haven't been there. I should look that up. I really should. Okay. So we're going to use the same green we've been using. I'm going to add a little bit more water to it. And this is my size 4 brush. And let's start over here. Okay, so first I will paint in the stem. I'm going to start the stem like right here, right before it starts to hide behind that leaf. And then I am going to paint in these leaves over here. Just simply. Freya says, how long have you been creating art for? Gosh, as long as I can remember. Like, ever since I was a little girl. I didn't get serious about art though until college. I was kind of serious about it in high school, but if I could go back, I would try and be more serious about it. I'm going to take my size 2 round brush, okay? It just has a tiny bit of water in it, and I'm going to soak up some of this. I feel like it's kind of dark, so I'm just kind of letting my brush soak this up. Okay. I'm going to continue this way. Fill in the leaves. And then paint in the rest of the stem. Okay, and then when we get up here, there starts to be like little purple flowers. So I'm just gonna kind of paint in leaves around the buds, kind of like that, like V shapes. And then I didn't draw this on my painting, but in the outline it's there. I'm gonna continue up and paint in some little tiny leaves up here, like so. Then I'm gonna take my size 2 round brush and I'm gonna soak some of this up. I don't want it to be too dark. Let's see, I'm trying to see. I'm missing some of your comments, I'm sorry. Oh, Rachel, you meant Thanksgiving dressing. Oh, okay. I see. Um, Marija, I probably said your name wrong. I'm so sorry. I feel like I say some of your guys' names wrong. Marija says, good morning from Ontario. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the same thing with these other ones. So I'm gonna start with the stem and paint in the leaves. Okay, then we start to get to some flower buds. So now I'm making these V shape. These will go around the buds that we will be painting in very soon. Okay, and then some more. And some little leaves up at the top. Okay. Now this one here, I think I forgot to draw in some leaves on my painting. But on the outline that you're provided, there should be one like right here, here. And then I'm going to make some V shapes around these buds. Oh, Patty has to go. Bye, Patty. Thanks for hanging out with us. Have a good day. Okay. We're almost done with the first layer. kind of, I guess we still have to paint in those flowers. But those will be very easy and simple. All right. So I'm cleaning my brush. How are you guys doing? How's your sage turning out? Let me know in the chat box. Trish says, I slept in. Is that a good thing or bad thing? Okay, Art said, what shade of green do you use? So this is a mixture of sap green. I was going to say sage green. A mixture of sap green from Daniel Smith mixed with a little bit of Mayan dark blue from Daniel Smith. Just give it more of like a blue tint. All right, so the next step is to paint in the little flower buds. And so for that, I will be using lilac from Holbein. So I need to find an area on my palette here to put this in. Let me wipe some of this away. Okay, so I'm going to take lilac here. And I'm just going to place it on my palette and mix some water in it. I'm just basically using this color right from the pan. I'm not mixing anything in it. And then I'm going to go over here and just loosely paint in some little flower buds, like so. Just a few brush strokes like that. And then I'm going to move over here, do the same thing. Very simple, very easy and cute little flowers. Froggo Bear, hi, how are you doing? Okay. I love this color. It's one of my favorite colors. Lilac from Holbein. Okay, a few more. All right, so that the first layer is officially completed. Yay! All right, so this is a good place to stop to do the artist spotlight. Who's excited for this? So let's take a minute break here. We'll resume the tutorial here in a minute, but let's do the artist spotlight, guys. Okay, so if you're new to my channel, every time I go live here on YouTube for a tutorial, I like to do an artist spotlight and spotlight one of you guys. So it could be one of you here. Are you ready? All right, so let me bring up their Instagram here and I will show you who it is. Okay, it's Sarah. Oops. Sarah Green. She is doing the Fall Fungi Challenge, which actually today is the last day to do it. But I mean, you guys can still do it after today. she's doing that fall fungi challenge I'm hosting. And then she's also part of my membership, Nature with Watercolor, where she painted this moth. That's part of the membership, a tutorial in the membership. And then the Luna moth is also one. Isn't that beautiful? And yeah, she also painted this bird. This is part of my membership as well. So yeah, isn't her art so beautiful? She's so talented. So if you would like to support her, feel free to find her Instagram in the description of this video. I don't think she's here, but yeah, isn't her art so beautiful? Okay, so let's continue this tutorial. All right. Now I have to adjust my camera. Okay, there we go. So it is time to begin the second layer. Maria says, that's a beautiful color. You said Holbein, right? I have Winsor Newton, but it's very pale. Yeah, this is from Holbein. This is Lilac from Holbein. Oh, Freya has to go. Have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with us. All right, so this second layer, we will be adding shadow to the leaves, okay, and more depth to the leaves. So we will be mixing a darker green. So I'm going to take my size 4 round brush and let's mix a darker green. Okay, so I'm going to take some sap green. I'm going to add it over here to this area with some water. I'm going to try and mix enough. I hope I mix enough. I always struggle with that. I never mix enough of a color. Okay, and then I'm going to add some Mayan Dark Blue from Daniel Smith to this. Until I get the color that I want. I'm going to add a little bit more water. But this green that we're mixing, we won't be adding as much water as we did to the green we mixed in for the first layer, because we want this to be darker. Okay. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this tutorial, it's going to like test out your colors. I'm going to scrap a piece of paper. Yeah, I think that's good. That's kind of what I'm going for. Rachel says, I have the outline drawn. I will probably rewatch and paint along later. I had a procedure done yesterday under anesthesia. Yeah, I probably said that wrong. Anesthesia. And I'm still a little bit out of it. Aw. I'm sorry, Rachel. I hope you feel better soon. All right, so we will be using wet on dry method. I'm going to apply this paint here, this dark green, to parts of the leaves, and then I'm going to switch to my brush here, my size 8 brush that just has water in it, and I'm going to use this to blend that dark green. Okay, so I have 2 brushes I'm working with. Now I'm going to first start over here and add some dark green, this part of this leaf here, okay? Then I'm going to switch to my blending brush. Blend this way. I just clean my brush a little bit, then I'm continuing. Then I'm going to kind of move this downwards to the stem. I'm going to add a little bit more over here. And then switch again back to my blending brush. So I'm trying to have the top of the leaf the darkest. And I think I might add just a tiny bit underneath too. And maybe a little bit over here. All right. Hannah says, Sarah's art is so good. Well done, Sarah. Isn't it? Hannah says, I think it's sweet that you do artist spotlight, Allison. Oh, what was the least I can do for you guys? You guys are all like so supportive of me and my channel and everything, and it's the least I can do to give back a little bit. All right, so then again, I'm switching to my brush that just has water, blending this way and this way. And then kind of into the stem. I'm going to add a little bit more over here and kind of at the tip of the leaf. I'm switching again to my blending brush. All right. I might add a little bit over here too. Then into that stem. Back to my blending brush. If you have been wanting to learn how I blend, this is a good tutorial to do that, because we'll be doing this method for the whole entire second layer. Rachel says the Holbein lavender looks more opaque. I'll probably mix my purple with white to get a similar effect. Yeah, this lilac from Holbein is opaque, pretty opaque. Okay, I'm gonna move on to this. Wait, I'm gonna move to this one here. Aw, Allison, you're so kind. Thank you. Thank you for your super chat. Aw, you're so sweet. Okay. So yeah, I'm just kind of adding this dark green here, like so. Switching to my blending brush. Okay. Blending into the stem and down. Okay, then I'm gonna add some more, like over here. And then switch to my blending brush again. Blending up. And I'm gonna add some to the tip of this leaf. Blend. Now, when you're blending with your brush that just has water, it's good to clean that brush frequently And then when you dip your brush in your water jar to add some water to it, it's good to dab that brush on the paper on a paper towel and let it soak up excess water because you don't want too much water in your blending brush. Larissa, hi. They say, hi Allison, love watching your videos. You're my inspiration for my watercolor art. Oh, you're so kind. I'm glad you like my videos. Alda says, hi Allison, do you have a membership? How to paint watercolor flowers? I do. So I do have some flower tutorials inside my Nature with Watercolor monthly membership. Let's see, I have an iris one, and I have a hyacinth tutorial. And I plan on adding more flowers soon. Probably in the spring I'll do more flowers for my members. So yeah. My membership is linked in the description below if you guys wanted to check it out. All right, so as you can see, I'm first kind of adding dark green right here where this fold overlaps. So we'll wait for now, like until this dries, to paint right here. So yeah, and I'm going to add some more dark green right there and then blend this way. Now, this is important. Try not to add any dark green here because these leaves are behind this one. And so we'll be adding dark green here and here on these leaves because this one's in front. So it'll create a shadow. And this will just help make our herb pop. Okay, so like I just said, I'm adding some dark green here now, like so. This will increase the contrast. And then blending this way. And then into the stem. And then for this one, we're going to add dark green here. Oops, here. So I'm going to try not to add too much dark green right on this leaf right here. Okay, so it's good to think about this stuff as you paint, like where your shadows should be to get the most depth and contrast in your painting. All right, I think I will add some dark green here though, and then blend. Okay. Kite Art said, I just got disconnected and you're almost done. Thank you, Trish. She says, looking so great, Allison. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and jump back to this fold here, okay? So I'm going to paint dark green at the edge, just like that, a tiny bit. Switch to my blending brush and blend this up slightly. I only want the edge of this fold to be dark. Like I don't want it to be too dark right here because I want this to be very light right there because it's right next to a very dark shadow, and that will just increase the contrast. Okay. Now I'm going to add dark green over here on this top leaf. Like that. And switch to my blending brush. Blend up. Okay, then I'm gonna add a little bit more over here, then maybe some at the top of the leaf. Just give it some more dimension. Hannah says, Allison, which came first, your YouTube or your Instagram? My Instagram came first. Yeah, when I guess I kind of turned my personal Instagram into what it is now, Allison Lane Art. Because if you like scroll up to the very bottom of my first post, they're like from before I started my art business, like some personal stuff, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna add some shadow to this one here and blend. Yeah, when I first started my art business, I knew that I wanted to do YouTube, but I was just scared. And so it took me like almost a year into my art business to actually start doing it. So yeah, my Instagram came first. Okay, I'm gonna add some of this dark green over here now, a little bit. Blend. Okay. I think I might add a little bit more. Marisha says, this is a real revelation for me to use two brushes, one with water only and blend. Great tip. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I like painting this way. It just makes it easier, at least for me. I'm going to continue the stem here, okay? Over here a little bit. Switch to my blending brush. Distribute this paint a little bit more down. Trish says, there are flowers in Allison's tutorials added in the woodland animal. Oh yeah, I do also in the Nature with Watercolor membership. Yeah, you get access to all of my classes, even classes that are not yet available. Like most of them are not available yet. And so my woodland animals, like some of them have flowers in the painting that we also paint together. So, okay, then I'm going to distribute this down. All right, now we're going to add dark green to this part here. So I'm going to add some dark green here. This is my blending brush now, kind of blending this way. And then this way a little bit more. All right. And then we will wait until it starts to paint this fold. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and paint this fold because I know that this will be dark right here because it's underneath this part of the leaf. And then blend. Okay. And I'm going to drop in a little bit more of this dark green right there. And then, let's see, I think I'm going to go ahead and paint some of the stem while I wait for this and this to dry. So I'm going to add some dark green, kind of like this. Switch to my blending brush, blend this up into these other stems, and then down. I'm gonna add a little bit more dark green over here. Blend down. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to this fold. Add some dark green at the bottom. Blend. Okay, I'm going to drop in a little bit more dark green, like that. Do you guys like painting herbs? A month ago I did basil. Should I do like some more here soon? Would you like that? Or would you prefer if we paint something else? Some other herbs that we can paint are like mint. I'm trying to think what else. There's a lot of herbs. Like oregano is one that we can do. Parsley. Okay, we're almost there, guys. I'm gonna add some dark green here into other parts of the stems too. So there, I'm gonna add some like right here. Back here. And it says Allison looks amazing with the darker green, like more herbs and flowers. Yeah, adding this dark green just really makes the herb come to life. Allison says, I would love an herb series. Yay! Okay, now let's work more on these little leaves over here. So to do that, we'll add some dark green to them. I might mix a little bit more water in this. All right. And I'm gonna first kind of paint in the stem a little bit more, just a tiny bit. I don't want to add too much of that dark green. And then kind of run my blending brush over that, let it blend. Okay. And then I'm just going to kind of add a little bit dark green to these leaves to give them some more personality. But I mean, these leaves won't be like super detailed or anything. I don't want them to take away from the larger leaves. Okay. And I'll just add some around these flowers. Okay, and then I'm gonna add some at the top, like that. Hannah says, back in the 90s, I painted a lot of furniture, decorative painting, and I did herbs on cabinets in a customer's kitchen. It was a 90s thing to do. Well, that sounds cool. Yeah, we're almost there. Just kind of adding some more detail to these little leaves. Okay, and then I'm gonna add some around those flowers. Trish says, what about adding beds of herbs with seed pods found this time of year? With seed pods. Is it terrible? I don't really know what you're talking about. I'm such a noob when it comes to like gardening and plants. So herbs in like seed pods. Okay, I'll have to look into that. Hannah thinks it's a good idea. so, and so does Allison. Okay, yeah, I'll look into that. Rachel says, do you have a reference photo for this one? Or did you make it up from a bunch of them? Yeah, there's no reference photo for this one. I'm basically going off a painting that I did like 2 years ago. This one here. I don't remember. Like, I think I just drew it myself. I didn't use like a reference photo or anything. So yeah, there's no reference photo for this one. Yeah, I did a whole herb series 2 years ago. And I still have all of the paintings. I didn't add them to my shop because I wanted to keep them. I was thinking I would frame them all and hang them in my kitchen. But have I done that yet? No, I haven't. I really should. Okay, I'm gonna add some dark green over here on the stem. All right, now we have this one. Okay. All right, I'm cleaning my brushes. Ashika says, nice painting, thank you. Rachel, oh wait, I already said your comment. And then Ashika says, I will try this at home. Well, I hope you like it. Yeah, I'm just kind of cleaning my brush here. That's what I'm doing in case you're wondering. I have like a lot of paint stuck in my, like, in between the, what is this called? Fennel? I think that's what it's called, and the bristle, which is probably not a good thing. All right, so we're basically done. I'm kind of just looking this over, trying to see like if I want to add anything else. If you want to take your herb to the next level, you could choose like another green that you want to use and just add that in various areas of the leaves. I like to do that sometimes to just give my painting more personality and interest by having various shades of like one color in the leaves or various like colors. Does that make sense? I'm losing my mind right now. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a close-up. So yeah, let me know what you thought of this tutorial in the comments or in the live chat. Let me know if you liked it. If you liked this one, you might like my basil one that we did a month ago. I'll link to that tutorial in the description of this video. Okay, I want to say a proper goodbye to you guys. All right. Yes, my art room is a total mess right now. Yeah, so if you finish your sage, I would love to see it. So post it to Instagram if you want to, and use the hashtag Allison Lane Art Tutorial and tag me Allison Lane Art. I would love to see it. And if you use the hashtag Allison Lane Art Tutorial, you might have the chance to be featured in the next live stream. So, and if you guys have seen my most recent, not my most recent post, but my post here on YouTube from a few days ago, why we're doing a live stream on Thursday. We usually have done them on Fridays. So I'm changing my YouTube upload schedule to every Thursday, and we'll be alternating between pre-recorded tutorials and videos and live streams like this. So yeah, I'm having to take a step back from my workload due to some personal or challenges in my personal life and stuff that I can't share right now. But yeah, so that's why. So every Thursday, you can expect some kind of video. So next Thursday, do you guys want to see what the tutorial will be for next Thursday? An autumn forest. So you can expect this tutorial next Thursday. It will be a pre-recorded tutorial, so not a live stream like this. And then in 2 weeks, in 2 Thursdays, I'll be going live again. So yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. It was a lot of fun. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for supporting my channel on here. It means the world to me, seriously. I can't do this without you guys. So it's all because of you guys that I'm able to do what I do. So thank you for that. Yeah, I'm glad you guys like the autumn forest. Yeah. So this will be up next Thursday. And it's an easy tutorial too, great for beginners. All right, thank you guys. Bye. Bye. Annette, Allison, Trish, Hannah, Sarah, Manali, Ishika, Rachel, Marija, who else? Elda, Larissa, I'm trying to name off your guys' names. Freya was here. Annette, Frago, Bear, Kai Arts. Bye guys. Liz, take care.